Welcome back to Temporal Directive, the Star Trek fan podcast rewatching the entire franchise in chronological order. I'm Gary.
And I'm Tom.
And this week, we're watching Star Trek Enterprise's Shockwave Part 1. Star Trek, the ultimate franchise. These are the podcasts of the Wakefield brothers. Their 16-year mission to watch every production, to seek out life lessons and new inspirations, to boldly watch like most fans have watched before. Well, Tom, this is our first two-parter of our chronological watch through.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's exciting.
And a split.
Yes, we're actually splitting it. So I think we might have talked about this in the intro episode, but just as a refresher, because this is the first time it's come up, any two-part episode that comes up, if part 2 was aired the following week, we will watch them together. If there were a season finale and a season premiere like this one, then we are keeping them split.
Yeah.
So we are only watching part 1 today, and we will talk about part 2 next week.
So if it's good and I really enjoy it, I have to wait a week.
You have to wait a week.
You bastard.
Yeah, that's right. So first season finale of Star Trek Enterprise. So after we talk through the episode, before we wrap up today, we might just talk about the season as a whole for a bit. Nothing too in-depth.
Yeah.
Tom, don't panic. You didn't have to take notes.
A quiz at the end.
Yep, there'll be a quiz. But we're also less than a week away from Section 31. So this episode will actually drop the day it is released. So that's how close we are.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd say I'm super, super, super excited, but I'm only a little excited.
I would say I'm more curious than excited.
That's probably a good way of putting it.
But anyway, how's your week been?
Good, tiring. I forgot what work life was about. I don't know how I forgot. I've been working for so long, but I had such a good cap.
You had a year off.
Yeah, I had a year off. It's amazing how coming back has made me tired and sore. And
That's what happens.
yeah, but I am still enjoying the job quite a lot.
Good.
It's there's a few, obviously, like any job that you learn, there's a lot of things I still got to pick up and stuff, but I think I'm learning it quite well, and
Cool.
the people are a lot of fun to work with, which is really good.
That's the main thing.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'm not sort of going to work going, got to deal with this bastard today.
All right, let's get into this week's episode then.
Alrighty.
This week's episode is Shockwave Part 1, the Season 1 finale, written by Rick Berman and Brannon Braga, directed by Alan Croker, who's been directing heaps forever. The air date for this episode was May 22nd, 2002. And the shocking IMDb synopsis.
Shocking.
Yes.
So it's like huge and detailed.
No, it's 2 sentences.
Oh, God.
After apparently causing the destruction of an alien colony, the Enterprise is called back to Earth. Archer learns via Daniels that the Suliban are trying to sabotage Enterprise's mission. And of course, you've not seen this.
Nope. I have
Exciting. Good.
And Daniels, huh?
Yeah. Is that a surprise?
No. It's not a surprise because I knew about the whole temporal...
Cold
Not
War.
the entire whole temporal war, but I knew about it and
Yeah.
bits.
Well, they mentioned it in
Yeah.
Strange New Worlds,
That's
didn't they?
right, yeah. And I sort of know a bit of the history. I know a bit of the Klingon stuff that comes up throughout Enterprise as well.
Yeah.
You know, because I am a Star Trek fan, so I sort of had to know some of the history.
Fair. Cool. All right, let's go watch the Season 1 finale.
Alrighty, cool.
And we're back from watching Shockwave Part 1. What do you think, Tom? Season 1 finale.
It's pretty friggin' good, actually. Am I allowed to skip ahead and watch the second?
No, you have to wait till next week.
Not good enough.
Wait for next week. Just think of all those poor people watching it when it first aired that had to wait till next season.
Nah, it's not right. That was pretty good, actually. I really enjoyed that. It was a very busy episode in a good way. Like it had a really good flow. Like you were sort of really wanting to watch it, which was good.
Yeah, it was very well paced.
Yeah. Not much to sort of say until we go through it, I think.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's do it then. We open on Archer and T'Pol and Trip talking about visiting a Paragon colony. They're talking about it being a matriarchal society. Not good for the ship of bros.
No, not good at all.
But the Paragons have made some steps to acquire equal rights for their male members of the society in the last decade or so. But Trip says it's probably better not to be too flirtatious.
Yeah,
which I really hope was a joke.
Yes. I feel like it did come across as a joke.
Yeah, I'm
so
sure
it was
a joke. Archer starts talking about the colony starting with 30 people and now it's over 3,000 people.
Yeah.
And talking about the settlement, it's grown, there's schools and a museum and whatever else. It's become a big settlement, not just a mining operation.
Yeah, impressive.
Yeah, and they sort of talk about if they think in the future Earth might have settlements this far out and what they might start to look like. And Archer starts, we're making history with every light year.
And my father would.
Yeah.
Not that he would. But his father would totally believe that would happen.
Yeah. But then Travis calls and says that they have received their permission to land at the colony. T'Pol asks about landing protocols and he says they're coming in now. Mm-hmm. We cut to the shuttlecraft. Malcolm, T'Pol, Archer and Trip are on board and they're heading down to the planet. They're talking about when to shut certain things and what the protocols say. Archer makes a comment saying it wouldn't be very polite to ignite their atmosphere. The fact that they mention it before it happens like this is...
I know. It's instant. I said it to you while we were sitting there. I was like, so that's what's going to happen.
Of course.
It's like, so that's exactly what's going to happen. It's like cartoons. Do you remember growing up watching any cartoon show where like the odd coloured thing was the thing that was going to move?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. You know, it's like, oh, well, obviously that is the pot plant.
We have to put that in your head.
Yeah, that's right. That's the pot plant that's going to move out of all of the pot plants that are on that wall in the cartoon because it's the one that's oddly coloured.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's the same in video games. If you go up to the brick wall and there's one section of it that's a slightly different colour, you know that's the part that you can touch.
Yeah, that's right. That's going to be the odd
That's going to be the one that does something.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like that, but in TV, isn't it? It's like, we don't want to ignite the atmosphere.
We wouldn't want to ignite the atmosphere.
No, ha ha ha. And then,
bang!
boom! Oh no, we lit it.
If only we had thought about it earlier.
Saw it coming.
Yeah. So, I would have preferred that not been said.
Yes,
I
me
think
too.
the episode would be stronger if it was a surprise.
Yeah, or like in today's sort of stuff, they would have done it like they would have talked about an atmospheric sort of things like that in like an episode before or 2 episodes before,
probably.
And planted that in your mind as a possibility of something that might happen.
Maybe, yeah.
And then it would have happened 3 episodes later, and you've gone, "Whoa, shit!"
Yeah. True. Anyway, there's a big bang.
Yeah. Surprisingly,
The explosion happens. We see the planet burning, and then the credits start rolling while the shuttle's getting thrown about and everyone's doing their best.
Yeah, we just saw a planet burn, and then we get a real nice, pleasant. It's been a long road, and it's like,
please don't sing it. Do you know who sings that song?
I don't want to know.
Whoever it is, let's leave it that way.
Thanks.
So we skip the credits and we cut to sickbay. Trip is unconscious on the bio bed, and Malcolm, T'Pol, and Archer are standing around, and Archer is freaking out, as he would,
Yeah.
which is completely normal. He's freaking out, trying to figure out what's going on, asking Malcolm if he closed the plasma ducts and followed the right procedures. Did he do everything correctly? Hoshi's there as well, actually, and she says that the scans, we were watching it as it happened. There's no survivors. Nothing's left. The whole settlement is gone. It's scorched earth as far as we can see.
Yeah, kilometers.
3,600 colonists are dead. Yeah. Everybody is dead. Malcolm's saying that he did nothing wrong. Archer's trying to find a reason or something to hold on to. And T'Pol is reiterating that this is an accident. We will find out what happened when we investigate, but this is nobody's fault. This was an accident.
Yeah. I really liked the scene. I mean, it was a terrible thing to happen, but I really liked how it played out. Like, everyone's reaction was really good.
Yeah.
And the tension on the bridge was really, really good.
Yes.
Like, it just felt real. Like, it was really good.
Yep. Absolutely. I agree. And that's where we go next, the bridge. So after sickbay, we go to the bridge, and they're talking about the tetrazine levels in the atmosphere and whether they were higher than what the protocol said.
Yeah.
Trip says actually they were lower than the tolerance. Malcolm reiterates that the starboard plasma ducts was closed.
Yep, closed and locked.
But that was the origin point of the explosion, the starboard plasma duct. Archer says that he needs to call Admiral Forrest and let him know what's going on. He says this isn't going to be a fun call. Absolutely not.
No.
And so we cut to the ready room with Archer on the comm with Admiral Forrest. Archer is filling in Admiral Forrest on what happened, and he's asking a lot of questions. There's a bit of explanation about tetrazine being a byproduct of the mining operation and where it sits in the atmosphere. And the only thing hot enough to ignite it is
plasma exhaust.
Exhaust plasma from the impulse engines, and that's why closing the plasma ducts was so important. And Admiral Forrest says you closed the plasma ducts. Sounds like you did everything right, and this was an accident.
Yeah.
And Archer says, but we came here to visit these people, not kill them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Archer's obviously he's feeling the guilt in this scene, and he does a really good job of it.
Yeah.
And I think Admiral Forrest does a good job of sort of saying that we need to get everyone together. We're probably going to have to get the Vulcans involved. We need to have an emergency meeting. Archer says I should be the one to contact the home planet and let them know what happened. And Admiral Forrest says, yeah, you probably should. But wait till we have a meeting. We need to take this one step at a time, so just hold for now.
Yeah.
And then he tells Archer that he has a crew that he basically has to role model for. So this wallowing in self-pity over an accident, while it's understandable, is not going to be the best thing for the crew.
Yeah, that's right. He needs to sort of stand up and be the pillar.
That's right. As a captain should. But yes, a very difficult conversation with the two of them. Very well handled, I thought.
It was a very good scene. And, props to Scott Bakula, who I often go, He actually done a very good job.
Yeah. There's been a lot of episodes in this season that sort of talked to the impact and influence that humans are having as they go out into the universe.
Yeah.
And to have such a huge impact to finish season 1 sort of highlights that topic that they've been talking about on and off throughout the whole season.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we cut to sickbay. T'Pol and Dr. Phlox are having a conversation, and T'Pol is concerned for the captain because his behaviour is odd, erratic, and Dr. Phlox basically explains this is human nature. It would be unusual for him to not be upset.
Yeah.
And she says it's kind of illogical. But it's just a quick little scene to say that T'Pol doesn't really understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Really.
That's right. And also probably to show that there is a little bit of time passing and Archer is a bit stuck in that state of
guilt,
grief and not actually standing up as a pillar.
Yeah.
Because she does explain that he's not coming out of his office and he's not, he's what'd she say? He's not being captain. Like he's not doing his duty and whatever else. So it sort of shows that there's a bit of time and he's not doing that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. But Phlox says that it's understandable.
Yeah, absolutely.
We cut to Archer in his quarters with Porthos in his lap. He is 21st century version of doom scrolling through the photos of the colonists that are all dead. But Hoshi calls and says that Admiral Forrest is calling and wants to have a chat.
Yeah.
But instead of hearing that conversation, we cut to the bridge. And there's a probe that's been out and they're getting the analysis back. And there are borocarbons present in the atmosphere on the planet, which proves that it was plasma that ignited the tetrazine. And Malcolm reiterates again, but the plasma ducts were sealed. It's not possible.
Yeah.
But the captain arrives on the bridge and basically just walks through. He sort of like
slunk.
He just goes from the turbo lift to the ready room on the other side. Yeah. And as he walks through, he says that he wants to Paul and Trip to join him in the ready room. Yeah. And that's it.
He does. He's not even polite. He just goes Trip to Paul, hits the button.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, no, follow me. No, nothing. Just the names as he walks, slunk through. And yep.
He's completely defeated.
It's just like, can't be fucked.
Then we cut.
I'm laughing, but it's like, yeah, it was just done well.
We cut to the ready room, and Archer is just staring out the window, and he says that the mission has been cancelled. Trip is obviously upset and angry about this. He says that Ambassador Savall will no doubt convince Starfleet that they need another 10 to 20 years to be ready for this mission, and that a Vulcan ship is picking T'Pol and Dr. Phlox up, and we're heading back to Earth. Trip's angry. He's saying that you waited all your life for this. How can you just let it happen? This is the guilt talking. This isn't you. This isn't right.
Yeah.
And Archer just says, dismissed.
Yeah.
Just doesn't want to hear it. Get out. Just get out.
Off you go.
I'm done. Just get out.
Yeah.
And then he goes back to staring out the window. We have a shot of Enterprise taking off from the planet to a rendezvous with the Vulcan ship. And we cut to Hoshi and Travis in the mess hall talking about what they're going to do when they get home. Travis says, do you think that they've filled your position back in Brazil? It's been almost a year.
Yeah.
If they haven't, they're fucking useless.
Yeah, that's right. That's a pretty pathetic group of people. And just wait 12 months, just see what happens.
Ridiculous. Anyway, she's very confident. She's like, I'm a prodigy, so it doesn't matter for me. I'll get a job anywhere.
Well, it's like even if they have filled it, they'll take me back.
Yeah.
They want me. Everybody wants me.
Because I'm the best. What about you, Travis? You could be captain of your own cargo ship. Oh. But he says that Enterprise actually has a pretty bad reputation.
Yeah.
Because they just keep getting in trouble.
Yeah, that's it. Everyone thinks we're just causing trouble.
So he's not sure that he will get a job anywhere.
Which is fair.
Yeah. Yep. We cut to Archer playing with his ball in his quarters.
That sounds great. Captain playing with his ball in his quarters all by himself.
Archer's sulking in his room playing with his ball.
Yep.
Just the one.
While his dog's watching.
Yes. And T'Pol enters. They found an unusual EM signature on the shuttle pod during their investigation. And she's got a little report, and he throws the ball at her as he grabs the report and says, what is this supposed to do something? Like, what?
It could be anything.
It could be anything. Do you really think Starfleet's going to look at this and say, oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah. That
so
proves
they
everything.
Toss the ball back and forth for a second, and she asks, is this what feeling sorry for yourself is? And he says, I wish I was just feeling sorry for myself, but I'm feeling sorry for everyone. Everyone relying on me to do a good job to keep Starfleet going. T'Pol says that he's obligated to fight, really. He's just sort of rolled over and let them do whatever.
Yeah.
And she says, you're obligated to fight. You do a lot of good things out here, but you're very quick to talk about the bad.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to talk to the Vulcan High Command and convince them if you're willing to do the same for Starfleet. Like, we should be fighting to keep this mission going.
Yeah.
And he says, this has got to be the first time a Vulcan has tried to cheer up a human. Yeah.
Yeah, would be.
It would be. Won't be the last, though.
No.
We cut to sick bay. Dr. Phlox is packing up and Trip is there trying to help, but he basically tells Trip to just leave everything alone.
Yeah.
Because you're just going to make it worse.
Yeah, don't
Not
touch
that he
it.
says it like that, but
No.
Trip's sulking about the mission being cancelled. He's talking about how the Vulcans will be glad to get rid of us. And Phlox is the forever optimist.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sort of a...
These are sort of like a friendship scene.
Yeah.
Phlox says he'll miss Trip's outspoken personality.
Yeah.
There's a bit of banter.
It's just a trip.
It's just a nice little scene.
Yeah. Trip deflation and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we cut to Archer going to bed. Porthos is in the room and he turns the light off and calls Porthos up onto the bed, and he doesn't jump up on the bed, so he turns the light back on and he's in a different room. How did they do that?
I don't know, Gary. It was so magical.
It's like something out of Penn and Teller.
Yeah. It's just totally unknown to me how they did that. Jesus.
So he's back on Earth. He's in like a nice apartment and you can see the view out the window. He gets a call from Trip. Turns out to be the exact same call he got 10 months ago. He says to nobody
Yeah.
that if you're trying to tell me that the last 10 months was a dream, I'm not buying it. And we figure out that this was the day before Clang crashed on Earth, which was in the pilot episode.
Yeah.
So this is the day before he knew about Dr. Phlox. And then he went over to the computer and confirmed that Dr. Phlox was a doctor in San Francisco.
Technically, he's talking to his dog because he often talks to Porthos as if...
Okay, yes, that's right.
Porthos
I forgot
knows.
Porthos was still in
Yeah.
the room.
Yeah.
Sure. And then he hears the words, "You're not dreaming, Captain." And it's Daniels. Wow. Daniels is back from the dead. And he says, "I thought you were dead." Trip said you were killed by Silic. And Daniel says, "Well, I kind of was."
Sort of.
I kind of was. I mean, yeah. But I needed to talk to you, and it's important that none of the other factions know about it. So I brought you here. And this is where we get all quantum leapy.
Yeah. Yep.
Future Archer has been put into young Archer's body, just like Quantum Leap. There's some back and forth about Archer's confusion over, well, what about the future?
Yeah.
Does the future happen? Hasn't happened yet?
Yeah. Who's
How
in
am
the
I?
bed?
What am I? Why am I here? Who am I? He says to Daniels, "You're meant to protect the timeline, so what the hell am I doing here? Like, why would you move me?"
Yeah.
And he says that someone had manufactured the explosion. It was never meant to happen. And Archer says, "Of course it wasn't. It was an accident." Like, oh,
Fucking hell.
God.
Just want to
Catch up.
Yeah. Just want to slap him in the face.
It was never recorded in the timeline. It was never supposed to happen, ever. Then it kind of cuts back to Enterprise.
Yeah.
Archer calls a meeting and everyone gets together in the situation area at the back of the bridge there.
Yep.
Malcolm arrives and he's found a disc, like a little Suliban looking disc
Yep.
that had been attached to the shuttle pod, and Archer had given him instructions on how to find it. So they can prove that it was
Suliban.
the Suliban had done something. Now Archer's got a list of things that he wants done, including
Huge list.
Trip to create a positron-based beacon,
Yep.
and he'll give him the specs soon. He'll send them down to engineering, and tells Travis to head back to the Paragon colony because it wasn't us, and we need to prove it.
Yeah. And Hoshi to... What was it? What was the word he used? To mess up the
comms.
Yeah, the comms.
Yep.
Yeah, on the fritz.
We need to not be
Yeah.
in communication for a few days.
Yeah, so the communication needs to be on the fritz.
Yeah. We come back from commercial. Archer is talking Trip through how to put together the positron beacon on the computer screen, and Trip is confused. There was a lot of technobabble in there about how it all worked, but
That's it. This isn't connected, so that's impossible. Well, it is. It is possible because it can be connected if
you have to create this flux.
my God.
Yeah, it was too much. But Archer understood it.
Yeah, with confidence too. He was
A lot of confidence.
yeah.
So he kind of convinced Trip to just follow the instructions basically and get it done. Then we cut to the bridge. T'Pol and Hoshi are talking to Archer about hacking into the Suliban data device that they're going after.
Yeah.
So while they know that Hoshi will be able to translate it, no problem, they need to work together to find a way to breach the security protocols on the recording. Yeah. T'Pol says that no doubt the Vulcan ship they were meant to meet has noticed that they've changed course. Yeah. And Archer says, have they tried to call? And Hoshi says, I don't know. Comms on the fritz. Good team. Good team.
Yep.
We cut to Archer and Reed walking towards Daniel's quarters. They're going in there to download the Suliban stealth ship schematic, and that's it. Reed's very excited about the possibility of getting all these other things, all this other information from this device. But Archer says, no, I promised that we would only get the one thing, and that's it.
It's like a future map. I mean...
Yeah.
You know.
It'd be fun to have a look at.
Yeah. Like, even just for your own interest's sake, Captain.
Exactly. No.
Mm-hmm.
They open the door, they find the device, they find the schematics. Reed does notice that there's like, was it half a dozen or a dozen Klingon ship designs in the schematic
might be
database. But no, we're just trying to find the one we're looking for. They find it, and then we cut to engineering, and Archer arrives and asks Trip if he's finished, and he says yes, but he does feel like a chef who just made a meal out of ingredients he's never tasted.
And you would too, wouldn't you? You'd be like, I put it all together exactly how you told me to, but if it goes wrong, it's not my fucking fault.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Archer asks him to mount the beacons onto the grappling arms and heads off. We cut to the bridge. They're approaching the planet. He has very specific instructions on where to aim the view screen, magnify on this particular part. Now, get the beacons out and use the beacons towards that area. Yeah. And then we can see through their cloak.
Yeah.
And we find the Suliban stealth
perfectly
ship.
placed.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly where Archer says to look.
Mm-hmm.
They notice that the Suliban ship is about to charge their weapons. Archer fires from Enterprise onto the ship, the exact right spots to disable their cloak and their weapons.
Yeah, and their engines.
Then they fire a torpedo, which seals the lower two decks from the rest of the ship on the Suliban ship. And Archer, Trip, and T'Pol launch a shuttle to fly over to the Suliban ship and dock at the bottom. And they board the ship. And, of course, the lower two decks are sealed. So they're only going to have, I think they say, about 20 Suliban to deal with.
Is that all?
They have a fancy explosive device that they arm and then open the door, throw this device in, shut the door, it explodes.
A stun grenade.
A stun grenade. And it flashes, and all the cloaked Suliban people that are up on the ceilings and shit all fall down, all unconscious.
About half a dozen of them.
Yep, they're done. So they rush through the corridor. Some Suliban open fire on them, so there's a bit of a phaser fire as they approach the room that they're aiming for. They get into the room. Archer climbs up a ladder, then down a ladder. He just jumps all over the room for some reason, and then finds what they're looking for on the console that was right in front of them when they walked in.
Yeah,
but he had to go up and jump around first.
It's that one.
Then he presses some stuff on the console and pulls out the floppy disks. Sorry, data storage disks.
Yes, yes. And not all of them.
No,
it was very
just
confusing. 3 out of the 5.
Correct.
I'm like, well, yeah. What?
So they grab them and they run. They get to a certain point in the corridor and they call Malcolm and say, we're surrounded by Suliban. Malcolm says, I'll take care of it. Find somewhere to cover. Mm-hmm. And he fires very specifically at a particular part of the Suliban ship, and they all go unconscious or whatever. They get knocked out by rubble as the ship gets shot. But not our heroes.
No.
They're fine.
Not. Yeah, they don't even get a scratch.
They keep going. Yeah. They get on board the shuttle pod. They seal the door, and the Suliban breach in, and they are trying to get through to they're in like the airlock part, and they're trying to get into the shuttle pod. So Archer says, fucking
Go.
Yeah. Full power. Let's go.
Engines.
Let's go.
Fucking floor it.
So they shake loose of the Suliban ship, and then those Suliban officers that were trying to get in just float out into space. Dead.
No, they ripped that bloody thing off.
Yep.
They ripped it.
They sure did. They head back to Enterprise. Archer calls and says, as soon as we're on board, set course to the Vulcan ship at warp 4 and go.
Yeah.
We come back from commercial. Enterprise has hacked the data storage device, or the floppy disks, and now they have evidence of the Suliban sabotage of the shuttle that caused the explosion. Photographic evidence.
Yes.
Not a video.
No.
Not a video.
No, sequential photographs. Yes, like you got to hit the keystrokes
Yeah, that's
for
right.
every frame of the
Exactly.
photos that were taken.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right. Of
But
the
they have it.
scans.
They have it.
Yeah.
They call Admiral Forrest, who says, how the fuck did you get that? He's like, I have friends in high places.
Yes.
He says, well done. Good work. Get to the Vulcan ship as fast as possible and we'll talk again.
Yep.
We cut to the Suliban Helix, and Silik is talking to Future Guy, and who says, bring me Archer. And he says, what about Enterprise? Let them continue. But shouldn't we... You have failed me for the last time. Future Guy's not happy. He's like,
No.
bring me Archer. I don't give a fuck about Enterprise.
No.
Bring me Archer and don't fuck it up.
Yeah. You keep fucking everything. Like, just I'm done with you. I'm done with you. I've taken away all your fucking abilities and everything, and
Yep.
you still can't get a fucking job done.
Nope. He's not impressed. We cut to Archer and T'Pol in the ready room, and Archer's trying to convince T'Pol of the time travel, and she says, the Vulcan Science Directorate.
Gee, that sounds familiar.
She doesn't believe it. He says, well, how else would I have known all this? She says, well, having a dead crewman take you through time to give you this information is probably the least likely scenario.
Yeah.
He says, well, what am I going to tell you?
Yeah.
That's what happened.
That's it. Like, give me another explanation then, Devol. Come on,
Yep.
come on.
She says, perhaps you were dreaming.
Yeah, fuck off.
He says, I never thought it was possible either, but you need to believe me. I rely on you. You're like my closest confidant.
Yeah.
You are the person that should have my side at all times, and I need you to believe me.
Instead of calling me a madman.
Yeah.
A madman.
And before she can really say anything, Malcolm calls from the bridge and says, we're getting some strange readings. You should probably come out here. So they go out onto the bridge, and there's some sort of problem with the warp field?
The warp field just keeps...
So they have to keep realigning the emitters or
containment field.
containment field. So they've asked Trip to come up and have a look as well. But everything seems to be in working order. But it's but it's not working because we have to keep realigning it.
Yeah, like a dozen times in the last hour.
So they're talking about that, and then Archer clicks and he goes, load the torpedoes, get the beacons out, aim them behind us.
Yeah.
And we see, more than a dozen? A lot of Suliban ships.
And he says,
following.
aim it down. There's more.
Yep. There's heaps. Trip says it's like we're in a swarm of bees.
Yeah.
And then they get hailed by Silik, who says, I wouldn't advise using your weapons, Jonathan.
Yeah, that's good, isn't he?
And then they decloak and they can see that they're surrounded by ships all around them.
Shit tons of them.
Archer reopens the communication channel, and Silik orders Archer to get onto a Suliban ship that's going to go dock, and that you've got 5 minutes to get on board, or he'll destroy Enterprise. Archer says, well, you would destroy Enterprise anyway. Why would I do that? And he goes, you have my word.
And now you've got 4.5 minutes.
Yeah. He's good. I really like Silik.
Yeah.
But Archer pauses before he walks out and places T'Pol in command and gives her some advice. Stay on course, keep an open mind. Trip says, this is madness. And Archer responds, T'Pol is in command now. Do everything you can to help her. That goes for all of you. He looks at Hoshi and says, "Can you look after Porthos? Remember, no cheese." Just as the door closes. That's his last words to his crew.
Yeah.
He gets in the turbo lift, the doors close, and then they reopen, and he walks into a room that is like wrecked. It is like debris everywhere. It is just
Destruction.
yeah, absolutely. We cut back to Enterprise, and Silic calls and says that Archer is playing a very dangerous game. And T'Pol's like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Puts him on mute.
Yeah. Hold that for me.
And they do a scan, and he's not on board the ship. They assume he must be on the Suliban ship. The Suliban think that they're hiding him.
Yeah.
So the Suliban target the Enterprise warp core. All of the Suliban ships target Enterprise's warp core. We cut back to Archer in the rubble. He finally finds a window, and he sees a destroyed city outside.
Yeah.
Daniel shows up and says that 10 minutes ago, that was a breathless vista that you're looking at. I was just having breakfast in that other room, and I was ordered to bring you here. That's what caused the destruction. Everything just changed. Archer asks where he is. Daniel says he's in the 31st century, and they go back and forth a little bit, but basically bringing Archer into the future is what caused the destruction that they're now living in. He says, "Well, send me back." And he can't send him back because all of the time portals, all of the technology, everything that they had has been destroyed. And it looks like it was destroyed a long time ago. So they are stuck there with no way to send him back. And then, to be continued. Bum, bum, bum. Well, now we talked through it. What do you think?
I'm going to watch the next part when I get home.
Next week. Do not skip ahead.
It's not fair. I want to watch it. It was good. It was a really good episode. I think everyone played it really well. And the story was really good, and the pace was really good. Like, you were sort of on edge a little. It was really a good episode. Really good. And everyone's acting was up there. Like, I'm impressed that it's so strong of an ending. Like,
Yeah.
I'm really happy with it.
Good. What about a life lesson for this Shockwave Part 1?
Probably trust the people around you. Like, trust your friends. Trust those that you care about. I suppose is probably a good one, because they definitely worked as a crew in this one.
Yeah.
Everyone really got on board with each other and supported each other. At least that's what I felt. So,
Yep.
There's something in that maybe that would be there.
Cool. All right. What are we going to rate this episode? For those listening at home, our examples of 1 episodes are Voyager's Threshold and Next Gen's Code of Honor. Examples of 10 episodes are Next Gen's Tapestry and Deep Space Nine's Far Beyond the Stars. Shockwave Part 1. Where would you put that on the scale of 1 to 10, Tom?
Pretty high. I'd go pretty high, so I'd probably say an 8 or a 9. Probably.
Okay.
Yeah. What have we got on there that's an 8? We have something that's an 8?
We've got the Andorian Incident.
Yeah.
And Shadows of Pajem.
Yeah.
And Acquisition and Vox Solar.
Vox Solar. Yeah, I'd put it up there with them. So I'd say
We do have a
8.
9.
Do we?
Dear Doctor was a 9.
9. It was a good episode. That I personally wouldn't rate it as high as that. Although it's sort of a different type. So yeah, I would go 8 or a 9. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't. Doesn't reach a 10.
No, I don't think it reaches a 10.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have that emotional
No, it
resonance
doesn't.
that we talk about when we talk about a 10.
No, it doesn't.
Um,
And Dear Doctor was quite unique, and like something about him. So I would lean more to an 8. But I would be happy to go for a 9 if you wanted to.
No, I'm happy
But
with an 8.
I'm happy with an 8.
I'm happy with an 8.
Yeah.
All right, 8 it is. That's this week's episode, and that's the end of season 1, Tom.
Yeah.
We're done. 26 episodes of Enterprise we've done.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And it's a lot better than I expected, to be
There
honest.
you go. Maybe watching it like this and talking about it and having some distance from when it first aired has given you a better appreciation for it.
Yeah, I think it probably has. And probably waiting sort of between episodes sort of gives me time to sort of decompress from the bad ones.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to sort of binge watch it all in one go.
Do you have a favourite episode of the season?
I think what we were just saying there, that the
Dear Doctor
is a really bloody good episode.
Yeah, it was the highest rating we gave an episode this season.
Yeah, and for good reason. And Dr. Phlox, he's a really good character, and he's a really good actor to play that part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm very happy with that episode being the favourite.
So we gave 4 episodes a 2. Did we? Terra Nova.
Yeah, that's
Shale.
Yep.
A Fortunate Son, which was the cargo ship one.
Yeah, that's also fair.
Sleeping Dogs.
Should just stay lie. Yeah.
Yes. And Rogue Planet. Those 4 all got rated a 2.
Yeah.
Not including the finale.
Yep.
The average episode score for season 1 from us was a 5.6.
Oh, okay.
So very mid-range.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yep.
So it might be slightly higher once I account for the episode we just scored.
Yeah.
But yeah, what are your thoughts on this season as being the first season of a new show?
Well, I think for a new show, I mean, it's hard to say. Like Star Trek wise, I don't think it's very strong. Only because, like, it's sort of for Star Trek fans, I think it's quite frustrating, and that's probably one of the reasons I found it hard, especially in the early days, because we know a lot of the stuff they talk about, and I find that really hard to watch. Like, it's like, we know this, we know that, we get it. You know, like, I know they've gone back to the start, but as a fan of Star Trek, we already know it. So it's really hard to watch and have them go through it when we know it already. It's a bit frustrating.
Yeah.
So for Star Trek fans, if you're watching Star Trek as new, then it might be easier. So, yeah.
Yeah. I thought, because if you think about Next Gen first season,
Yeah.
Deep Space Nine's first season,
Yeah.
Voyager's first season,
Yeah.
I feel like they all struggle,
Yeah.
but I feel like this one had some really fantastic episodes.
Yeah.
Enterprise is not my favorite.
No.
I feel like this watch through has given me a better appreciation for it as well. Even though I've watched it a few times and I kind of remember some of this stuff, but I think like looking at it and talking about it, and
Yeah.
instead of just sitting there and consuming it, has given me a better appreciation for it. So I actually quite enjoyed this season.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to next season.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Cool. I guess we're going to stick with this and keep going.
Yeah.
We've done a whole season already, and
Yeah.
that seemed to go pretty quick.
It
And
does, doesn't it?
it's been fun to talk and watch and share, and we've had a bit of feedback, and we've contributed to another podcast, and
Yep.
yeah, it's been a good journey so far. So we'll keep going.
It has.
All right, that's it for this week. If you want to join the conversation, you can find us on Facebook at Temporal Directive Podcast, and on Instagram, just Temporal Directive, or you can email us at wakefield_productions@outlook.com. We'd love to hear from you, so please reach out. We'll be back next week for, of course, Shockwave Part 2. Live long and prosper.
Peace and long life.